Well, the Elite Eight is set, and like the 3 previous days, Day 4 did not disappoint when it came to great games in Hutch. With all these games going down, we are now down to the final 8 teams. Like I said, Barton and Daytona State started the day off. Can the defending national champions keep their run alive, or will we have a new national champion? Let's go ahead and jump into today, starting with the champs against Daytona State, who had the first round bye as the 8th seed. Unlike yesterday, however, Daytona State had no trouble shooting on the rims of the sports arena as they led by 13 at the break at 43-30. But Barton, like the champs that they are, they came storming back and made this one a close one. However, Daytona State advances to the Elite Eight where they will take on Connors State tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. 73-70 the score here today. Let's go ahead and jump into the team stats of these two teams. Barton shot 39.4%, good for 26 of 66 from the field, while Daytona State shot it at a little bit higher of a clip at 28 of 65. Daytona State lived behind the arc and hit 10 trays out of 32 attempts, while Barton was 7 of 20 from behind the arc. Barton did get to the free throw line a lot more, 11 of 22 shooting, and that really hurt the defending national champions here as they only made 11 shots, while Daytona State was 7 of 12 from behind the arc. The Hawks also beat the Cougars out in the rebounding battle, 48-37 in that one. However, they did turn the ball over 14 times compared to Barton's 8. Barton was able to capitalize on those turnovers with 15 points, while Daytona State had 11. Points in the paint favored Daytona State 34-28, as did the fast break points and the bench points in this game. Barton led by as many as 7, and Daytona State led by as many as 15 in this ball game. We had 2 ties, 4 lead changes in this one. Let's go ahead and look at the first half stats for these two teams. First, for Barton, they were led in scoring by Brent Moss, who was 3 of 7 shooting from the field with 2 rebounds and 2 assists in the first half. He finished with 7 points. And then Kendra Kendall was 2 of 7 from the field. He had 5 points as well, but he battled foul trouble with just 3 fouls. We'll dive into if that affected him in the second half at all here in a second. That was most of the scoring. You did have Sebastian Mudicic, who was 2 or 3 shooting from the field, had 5 rebounds leading the team, and had 5 points. For Daytona State, they were led in the first half, starter-wise, by Tyrese Lacey, who was 3 of 5 shooting from the field, 1 of 3 from behind the arc, and he had 7 points. Isaiah Dorcas was 2 of 4 shooting from the field, had 5 assists to go along with 4 rebounds, and he finished with 5 points. Jalen Payne and Ryan Bewley each had 6 points. Payne was 3 of 5 shooting from the field, while Bewley was 2 of 4 from the field. Bewley had 4 rebounds, and 3 of them being on the defensive end, while Payne had 3 rebounds, 2 of them being offensive. Off the bench, it was Dylan Diaz, who was 3 of 5 shooting from behind the arc, that led the way for the Hawks in the first half. He finished with 12 points. So like I said, the Hawks really relied on the scoring off the bench for their victory here. And as we see in the second half, there we go, it was Brent Moss who exploded for Barton. 9 of 14 from the field, 10 rebounds in the second half, and 21 points. Aris Rodriguez was 3 of 9 shooting from the field, all from behind the arc, and he made 4 free throws. He finished with 13 points in the second half. But those were your 2 big guys for Barton to come off and have a game, and they did so. Nobody else really contributed in the second half for the Cougars. So for Daytona State, Tyrese Lacey was 3 of 5 shooting from the field to continue his way with 7 points, as Dorcas was 3 of 6 shooting from the field and had 7 points as well to go along with 3 assists and 2 rebounds. Diaz cooled off a little bit in the second half. He was 1 of 5 from the field, 1 of 4 from behind the arc for only 3 points. And Cuevas did not score, but he did have 2 big defensive rebounds towards the end there. Noah Mendy was 2 of 3 from the field and had 5 points. So as we look at the box score here, like I said, Brent Moss led the way for Barton with 28 points, followed by Rodriguez, and then nobody else in double figures for Barton. Daytona State, you had Lacey, Dorsis, and Bewley, and then Diaz came off the bench with 15. So 4 players in double figures for Daytona State to finish out the game. Here are the officials for the game. And once again, Daytona State, for teams that have played for the first time at Hutch this year, they came out to a slow start. Not the case for Daytona State, as they pull out a huge win and they will advance to take on Connor State, like I said, 1 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Trinidad State had the biggest upset between the first and second days, as the 23 seed comes into today, getting ready to take on Trinity Valley, the 7 seed. And again, Trinity Valley had no problems shooting on the rims at Hutch. That I just have to put up to all their experience that they have in the sports arena. As with Hutch, the more experience you have, the better you're going to do here. And Trinity Valley proved that point. They are another blue blood that's almost always in this tournament, and they were able to pull out a huge victory, 92-60 victory here over Trinidad State. Let's go ahead and look at our stats here for both the Cardinals and Trinidad State. Trinity Valley was 37-76, good for 48.7% from the field, while Trinidad State was 22 of 55. Trinidad only was 3 of 22 from behind the arc, while Trinity Valley was 7 of 24. Both teams got to the foul line equally. Trinity Valley 11 of 18, Trinidad State 13 of 20. The Cardinals out-rebounded Trinidad State 44-31 in this one, and forced 18 turnovers while only committing 7 turnovers themselves. And they were able to capitalize off 21 points off those turnovers and 27 second chance points as well, while they dominated the points in the paint 52-32, and the bench points as well 40-34 or 40-11, and their largest lead was 34 points. No ties, no lead changes, just pure dominance by Trinity Valley in this one. Let's go ahead and look at individual scoring stats, both for Trinidad State and Trinity Valley. Trinidad State, was led by Lateef Patrick, who was 4 of 7 from the field, had 5 rebounds and 8 points. He was the closest one to being in double figures. And then off the bench, you had Devin Davenport, who was 2 of 3 from the field, 1 of 2 from behind the arc, and he finished with 7 points. Those were your 2 biggest scoring outputs. Amir Reeves had 4 points. Tajon White had 3, and Sean Johnson had 4 for Trinidad State. For Trinity Valley, no starter in double figures, nobody really close in double figures starter-wise. Garrett Knuckles was 2 of 6 from the field with 1 3. He had 5 points. That was the closest one there. Off the bench, it was Zadie Lubach, who was 5 of 8 shooting from the field and had 5 points. 5 rebounds. He finished with 11 points. The only player in double figures for either team. But Trinity Valley, you see this here. They were so balanced scoring. They didn't need a singular standout personnel here. Tyler Smith had 4 rebounds. Cameron Johnson had 4 rebounds. And Cameron Williams had 3 rebounds as well. So, first half, even scoring for both teams. However, Trinity Valley was just able to hit a lot more shots here. In the second half is where we get some interesting things as Lateef Patrick continued a good tournament. He was 5 of 7 in the second half, 1 of 2 from behind the arc, and 7 of 8 from the foul line, all in the second half, finishing with 18 points in the half. He had 3 assists and 3 rebounds in the second half as well. And again, he was the only one to put out substantial numbers for Trinidad State. For Trinity Valley, once more, we've had even scoring. Here's Garrett Knuckles was 4 of 5 from the field and with 9 points in the second half. Tyler Smith was 5 of 7 from the field and had 12 points as well with 3 assists and 2 steals. But yeah, pretty much everybody else, 2, 4, 5. Cameron Johnson was 2 of 4 with 7 points. But yeah, so Trinity Valley, once again, they know how to win here at Hutch. They've been here before. Another blue blood advances to the Elite Eight. In the third game of the day, had Angelina against Jones in this one. And once again, Jones no stranger to Hutch as they came out strong. However, Angelina shooting just a little bit better in the first half, and they win the ball game 74-62 in this one. So Angelina, another upset pick here as the Roadrunners beat up on Jones to advance to the Elite Eight in that one. Let's go ahead and look at some team stats here for both these teams. Angelina led by 10 at the break, 37-27, and they shot 25 of 53 from the field, while Jones was 25 of 61. Angelina, 8 of 19 from behind the arc, while Jones was 5 of 23. Jones settled a lot in the second half to just take the 3, and that doomed the Bobcats in this one, in my opinion. Angelina also doubled them on trips to the foul line, and they made 16 of 20, while Jones was 7 of 10. They out-rebounded Jones 38-33, but Jones did have the win in the turnover battle 14-13, and they took a lot of advantage off those turnovers, making it 17 points off turnovers for that one. Jones also dominated in the paint, 36-22. But once again, Angelina was just able to hit their threes while Jones was not. Angelina's largest lead was 17, and Jones' largest lead was 4. We had 2 ties, 1 lead change in this one. And again, Angelina, for a team that I was not too familiar with in Texas, I should have known better that they were going to be one of these teams to make it hard for you to win on. And they did. They had a 3-headed monster who did all of the scoring for these 3. Jordan Matthews, Damian Ellie, and Christian Jones. Jones led the way, 5 of 7 from the field, 3 of 4 from behind the arc, with 13 points. Ellie was 4 of 6 from the field and had 6 rebounds. He finished with 12 points. And Jordan Matthews was 4 of 7 from the field, had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 12 points. That's it. That's your scoring. I'm not making it up. Nobody else scored for Angelina, and Jones couldn't stop them from showing what they did, whatever they wanted to in the first half. For Jones, nobody in double figures. However, LJ Hackman was close with 6 points off 3 of 5 shooting from the field, and Kai Parnell was 2 of 3 from the field, 1 of 3 from behind, or 1 of 1 from behind the arc. Had 3 assists and 2 rebounds. He finished with 6 as well in the first half. Demp Purnell was 2 of 6 from the field. He had 5 points for Jones. So, once again, Angelina only had 3 scores, all of them in double figures, and they outscored Jones by 10 points in that one. That's amazing. In the second half, those 3 were held in check a little bit, and by a little bit, I mean they didn't do all the scoring. Chris Carpenter got into the scorebook, 3 of 4 shooting from the field, 5 of 7 from the foul line, had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. He finished with 12 points. Matthews in the second half was 3 of 7 from the field, adding 8 more points to his total, while Damian Ellie was 2 of 2 from the field. He had 5 points added on to his total. So Matthews finished with 20, Ellie finished with 17, and Christian Jones, the big winner here, 3 of 4 shooting from the field, all from behind the arc. He finished with 9 points in the second half. Kyle Morgan came off the bench, 1 of 3 from behind the arc. It was a 3. He had 5 rebounds for Angelina and 3 points. For Jones, Dem Purnell was 5 of 7 from the field. He had 12 points in the second half, had 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Avery Thomas II was 3 of 4 from the field, all from behind the arc. He finished with 11 points. And that was your 2 biggest scorers for Jones. Again, Angelina being able to put up 37 in each half, and Jones not able to cut into it, actually, and losing the second half 37-35 in that one. Again, Jones just settled a lot for 3-pointers in the second half, and you see it here. And in the game total, they just settled for the 3-ball. That's how they were going to beat you. And Angelina just had a better game plan going into it, and were able to pick up a huge victory. Once again, Angelina is another team from Texas to punch their ticket into the Elite Eight in day 5 of the tournament. And the final game of the night pitted the Plainsmen of Frank Phillips against the Ponies of Panola in a battle of Texas here at Hutch. And Panola is able to pull out a 60-53 victory over Frank Phillips. Once again, the team who had a first-round bye led at the break. Panola led this 32-23 at the break. Frank Phillips was able to cut into it a little bit, just not enough, as the magical run for the Plainsmen falls short here in the Sweet 16. Let's go ahead and look at the team stats first. Frank Phillips just had a poor shooting night, honestly. They were 19 of 59 from the field, while Panola was 23 of 51. Panola was 7 of 13 from behind the arc. Frank Phillips was 2 of 19, 10.5% from behind the arc. That is going to always be a killer. They were 13 of 18 from the free throw line, while Panola 7 of 19 from the free throw line. Both teams turned the ball over 17 times total. Frank Phillips was able to get 22 points off those turnovers, while the Ponies got 20. The Plainsmen won the rebounding battle 39-38 in this one as well, including 17 offensive rebounds here. Both teams fouled about evenly, 15 and 13. Frank Phillips won the bench battle 30-21, and also the points in the paints 32-28. Again, one of these rare times where you win a lot of these team stats that normally determines the game, and you just fall short in the game just because of a poor shooting performance for Frank Phillips. It was that 10.5% there. Individual scoring for, let's go with the Plainsmen first. L.A. Haynes was 7 of 14 from the field, 1 of 3 from behind the arc, and 23 points. Sherman Weatherspoon was 5 of 10 shooting from the field, 1 of 4 behind the arc. Grabbed 2 rebounds and had 12 points. Made Torre was 3 of 8 shooting from the field, had 6 rebounds and 9 points, while Mustopa Luam was 2 of 6 shooting, but had a team-high 11 rebounds. He finished with 5 points for the Plainsmen. For the Ponies of Panola, it was C.J. Worsham, who had 19 points off of a 7 of 11 shooting performance. Jalen Drain was 4 of 10 shooting from the field. He had 10 points. And Coy Thurman was 4 of 7 from the field, had 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Worsham fouled out in this ball game, and Thurman had 8 points. Travis Toran was 2 of 3 from the field, 2 of 2 from behind the arc, and had 6 rebounds as well for 7 points. So again, this game was really, really close, as both teams played, both Texas teams, always interesting to see that type of matchup here at Hutch. But Panola was just able to pull out the victory. They have a quick turnaround as they will take on Vincennes in the quarterfinal action, 9 p.m. Eastern time for that one. It's going to be a very interesting game between Panola and Vincennes. So yeah, like I said, it's going to be very interesting. Let's go ahead and jump into the bracket and look at all the matchups for tomorrow's games. Well, the Elite Eight is now set, and like I said, it's going to be a very interesting 4 games as they are all played tomorrow. For the winners of today's games, quick turnaround for them as they have to play against some really tough competition. Let's go ahead and look at the bracket. Connor State, the 17 seed against Daytona State here in the quarterfinals. That's going to be played noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we'll have Trinity Valley against Cali. Cali survived against Triton, and Trinity Valley handled Trinidad State there. So that one's played 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Eastern Time. And then we have another battle of Texas. Angelina against South Plains at 6:30 Eastern Time, 5:30 Central Time for that matchup. And then finally we have Vincennes against Panola, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time. All 4 of these games are played at Hutch. It's going to be interesting to see how the 4 teams that played today are going to respond compared to the 4 teams that punched their ticket to the Elite Eight yesterday. It's like I've said the last 3 days, fantastic tournament ran so far. So much fun to be doing these breakdowns once again. I can't ask for more of that. So that's going to do it for this episode, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow as I recap the quarterfinals. Until then, peace.